Well, as long as Indians keep talking about decolonization, they are saying we are colonized. We are underlings. So proud Indians don't say that. They say we are our own masters. Colonization is a thing of the past. Indeed, most Indians now alive have never lived through one day of colonial rule. So anything they may suffer from or complain about, they themselves have done it to themselves. And things that remind us a little bit of the colonial period, like the use of English, you see, again, Hindus are doing that to themselves. I am very strongly in favor of a return to native languages. And this is a plea against self-interest. You see, I'm never going to speak as good Hindi as the cleaning lady or the tea vendor or what. It is not in my own self-interest. People who defend English, if an American professor comes over in English, these ridiculous RSS Wallas with their Hindi, come on. No. You see, I'm all in favor of Hindi, even though it's not so good for myself, but it is very good for the Indian people. And so, look at it, for instance, from a democratic viewpoint. You see, in a democracy, everybody participates in the political process. Now, in India, the political process mainly is in English, certainly at the national level. So, you will only have a real democracy if the entire population speaks English fluently. Which means that effectively India will become a part of the Anglosphere, which it partly already is. Now, I don't know if that's what you desire. Certainly those nationalists that we were talking about, Hindu nationalists, secular nationalists, what interest have they in this? Although it is possible, like in the Meiji Restoration in Japan, when they were getting all this Western influence, 1880 thereabouts, the Japanese government seriously considered a proposal to switch over to English. Because you see, all these machines were arriving with English labels and so on. So they thought that there was some link between modernity and English. But of course that proposal was not accepted. And today we know that in Japan they do Nobel Prize level inventions or discoveries in Japanese, often by people who only know Japanese. So you see, this could happen in India too. You don't need English for anything. I remember in 1988, 89, there was a big commotion about Hindi. It was because Mulayam Singh Yadav, the chief minister of Uttar Pradesh, had abolished the English paper in the exam for civil servants. And so, this was a big move towards the use of Hindi, the exclusive use of Hindi in his state. Now, the newspapers were full of letters pleading the cause of English. And these were mostly written by pupils from English medium schools. So you see, normally they write an essay, they have to hand in an essay every week, and apparently the teacher had told them for that week, now instead of writing an essay, you write a letter to the paper, okay? And so all these letters had the same argument essentially, namely, India has to be a modern country and forward-looking and technology, blah, blah. And this is only possible through English medium education. Now, that is not true. You see, in Japan, they don't have English medium education. So India doesn't need English medium education. Some African countries that have no tradition of written language and so on, they may be tempted to do English or Portuguese or whatever they have. And, for some time that may be acceptable, but I think ultimately they too are capable of doing it in their way. But certainly India. India has a long and sophisticated literary tradition. It is demeaning for India to, have to do with English. So there I am totally in favor of decolonization, if that is what you want to call it. Linguistic decolonization. Drop English. You see, go back to Hindi, to Sanskrit, whatever you choose. You know, this is your own choice. But at any rate, choose your own. And you know, that is, you know, if you want to do something positive that has a decolonizing character, that really is the first thing to do. As Madhu Kishwar once wrote some 10 years ago, but it's very much still applicable today, the biggest difference in India is not between one religion and another. It is not between one caste and another. It is not between one mother tongue and another. It is between the people who know English and the people who don't. And so, you know, that's a very artificial discrimination for which there is no good reason. English can be learned as a foreign language. In my country, maybe not the older generation, but the younger generation, everybody speaks English to some extent. But, you know, the language of education or administration is Dutch or French. And so there no English is needed. And so, you know, India can be the same. Not because they have to follow the example of Western countries like my own. No, because they want to be Indian. And because they have a tradition of, you know, using their own languages. So that's a very positive type of decolonization. So in general, you see, that is what I wish Indians to do, to the extent that I have any say in the matter. You know, it is to go forward rather than to wail forever about colonization in the past. You see, India is a great country. It doesn't deserve to treat itself like a colonial underling. It isn't. It's time to wake up and to see your own potential and to use it. Thank you.